guys, I'm back, and today we're going to do something completely different. As you can see here, my supplies are a hot glue gun, gesso, a couple of ratty paint brushes that you don't care if you kind of destroy them, pencil, a wood circle, and 4 Artist Loft colors. We've got Mars Black, Copper, Old Gold, and Phthalo Green. Metallic Phthalo Green, excuse me. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try this. Let's move those out of the way. I did this the other day because I wasn't entirely sure if it was going to work out real well. So I didn't want the pressure of having the video running. So I wanted to sort of figure out what my problems were going to be with it before I did a video. Normally I don't do that, but I really I had a headache. I wasn't really in the mood to be talking during a video. So we're going to try this today. Of course, it's going to be a different drawing, different pattern. But as you can see, we've got a lone, as my Ella Bella calls it, she said it's a lone tree on the savannah blowing in the wind. So so it's meant to look like just sort of an antique, metal type of piece of art. I think this one, for my first try, turned out pretty cool. I'm kind of happy about this one. And this is just one of those wood circles. You get it, it's $1 at Walmart. And like I said, paintbrushes, I'm just using crummy paintbrushes because if you use really nice ones, they're probably going to get, a little messed up through this process. So I originally saw this on Blackbeard Art Studio. So go check out that channel. There's a few pieces on there that are done like this, and it's just a neat process. I thought it was really cool, and completely different from what we normally do on this channel. So I thought, hey, I think we're really delving into a lot of different things. So I thought this would be fun for you guys to try, especially if you're having trouble, with your paintings and you're getting frustrated. Take a break. Try something different. You can always go back to it. Your supplies are still going to be there. But sometimes it's nice to try something different. And you never know. Some of you out there may not want to continue with paint pouring. You might want to try something different, and you might fall in love with something different. So it's really good to, it's like trying new foods. You always want to try new foods. I think as an artist, we should always be trying new techniques. And if you hate it, go back to your paint pouring or your abstract art or whatever you want to do, jewelry making. But I think it's good to sort of try new things, and you never know, what could be your next great masterpiece. So this is what we're going to try today. I have a wood circle here, and get that out of the way so I don't paint on it. And it's just, like I said, it's just one of those cheap wood. It's probably about 1/4 of an inch thick, from Walmart. It has a staple hole in it, so I'm going to just try and fill that with gesso, or probably take the glue gun over top of it, and that'll fill the hole. And I just sanded down the edges because these kind of come with really rough edges, so I've smoothed it out with some sandpaper, and yeah, that's all I did to it. It's not primed, it's not sealed in any way whatsoever. The gesso will take care of that. So what we're going to do first is, obviously, we're going to turn on our glue gun and let it sit for a few minutes, which we'll do off camera. So I've got gesso here. This is just Daler Rowney. I think this one comes from Walmart too. And then, as I said, just some cheap paint brushes that you really don't care if they get ruined or not. So what we're going to do while our glue is warming up is just sort of draw out a pattern onto the wood. Now, you don't have to do this. You really don't. But I tend to do a little better if I have sort of a map to go by sometimes. I don't want to just jump right in there and take the glue gun and just sort of create something because I might not like it. So we're just going to sort of sketch out, a little tree. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be, all of what you're going to do. Just sort of give you a few starter lines to go by, and then, you know, you can fill in the rest with your glue later. Because you're going to do, you know, since this is an old craggly tree kind of hanging over, you're going to want to do lots and lots of glue lines in through here. But like I said, you know, you don't have to draw all this out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's all going to get painted over, so, you know, if you mess up, no big deal. You know, this is just sort of to get an idea of what you might want to, you know, follow your glue. And, you know, we don't know yet if this is like tree roots coming down or if this is going to be sort of a grassy area. I don't know yet. We'll see. So, that's good. That's good enough. I'm going to put the video on pause for a second because the glue gun really needs about 15 to 20 minutes to warm up properly. So, we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Okay, so I've turned off my side light because I realize you guys can't see really well my pencil marks, but, you know, you don't really have to see that. So we're just going to take our glue gun here. We'll move that out of the way and move our paintbrushes out of the way. And we're just going to start wherever we want. Sorry, my cord got stuck. Okay, we're just going to start following, you know, a few of the lines. And, you know, it's an old craggly tree, so you don't want it to be perfect. And I don't know about y'all's glue gun, but my glue gun is terrible. It kind of drags. It leaks and it drags a line of glue kind of after it. So I kind of have to kind of smush it down and drag it. And then, you know, once the glue is dry, you're going to also want to go back and sort of pick up the strings that your glue gun kind of leaves behind. Because otherwise it'll show up in your next, you know, your next step. It'll show up in the next step. Sorry guys. I'm kind of watching the glue going all over the place, and I'm realizing I need another glue stick in there. I'm trying to remember what I did with my glue sticks. No idea, but they're around somewhere. And, you know, go over top of, you know, the lines, crisscross, kind of back and forth. I hope you guys can at least see a little bit of this. And, you know, if it hangs over the side, you can just take like a razor blade once it's dry and, you know, just kind of scrape that off. Let's see what I did with my glue sticks. Okay. And we're back. And like I said, you know, just, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is, you know, and it's just a fun thing to do, but I mean, it actually turns out super cool. So, well, in my opinion, and some of you may not like this, and that's fine. you don't all have to love everything we do, right? You just have to have fun, enjoy watching everything we're doing, and you know, if you don't like it, skip on to the next video. Or go back and watch some of the old ones. We got some good ones in there. And you kind of see how we're getting all of the, you know, the gnarly bark worked through with layer after layer of the glue. Definitely going to have a lot of strings that we're going to need to pull off. But they rub off, you know, quite easily, so. And you just keep filling it in until you're done. So you feel like it looks how you want it to look. I want my tree really craggly and lots of old tree branches, so we're just filling in all of the gaps. I don't want there to be a lot of space in there. My hand is getting a little tired. I am having a little bit of trouble with carpal tunnel right now, so my hand is got like some serious nerve problem right now, and it hurts. I feel like I have glass in my fingertips. I'm sure some of you guys out there are also experiencing, you know, these same problems. Okay. Now we need to do some ground here. Just to sort of mark the ground there for the tree. I might kind of just fill that in as well. And make sure you have something on your table that's going to keep the glue off of it. I have a little vinyl tile there but this stuff dries really fast, so I'm just sort of staring at it, seeing if there's anything else I really want to add into there. Do I want to fill that in? I'm trying to decide. I think we need a little more in there. I can see it's kind of empty in there. There we go. Okay, I think that's probably good enough for our tree. So we're gonna, whoop, still wet right there. I'm gonna pause it and let this dry completely. Give it about 20 minutes and we'll be right back. Okay, so the glue has dried, and what we're gonna do now is just put some acrylic gesso on there. This helps you want to sort of pat it down into, make sure you get it into all those little crevices, because this is what's going to help the paint stick to that glue. Otherwise your paint could very likely peel off in the future. So you just want to kind of work it into every little crevice. That's why you need a paintbrush that you really don't care, you know, if you destroy, because you very well may destroy a good brush. So just want to work it in real good, and then kind of go back over it and make sure you don't have any kind of blobs. And it's really a good idea to do this twice if you have the patience for it. I probably will not because I don't have the patience for it. But I did that last time, and I ended up, well, I don't know. I'm not sure it makes any difference. But you really should let this dry overnight. But I have no patience, so what I did was took the blow dryer to it to get this to dry quicker. And don't worry about your brush strokes because you're gonna put texture into this anyway with your gold. Again, that's why you need a ratty brush, because you're going to give it texture. That's what kind of gives it the old antique-y sort of metal finish to it. This one's a bit more complicated than the last one, a bit busier, so I'm hoping it will still turn out. And just sort of turn it, make sure you got all the little cracks and crevices. It looks like a mess now, but hopefully, and see, and you can also see where we've dragged glue across there, and it will help you get your glue, help you see where you need to pull some of those strings off if you couldn't find them before, because I didn't see these before. Because you don't really want to leave those dragged glue pieces across there. You know, that sort of mess up your pattern. And then go back over it, make sure. You know, some are nice because like right there and right there, it kind of looks like vines through your old tree. But if they mess up the flow of your piece, pull them off. Okay, I think we have gotten every little crack and crevice. Looks like it. Doesn't look like we've left any lumps anywhere. I don't see anything because you want to make sure you get it out of those cracks and crevices, because that's where it's going to be important to fill in later with your black. But I'll explain that when we get to it. And you got to watch out for these cheap paintbrushes. They will leave bristles. They will leave bristles in your artwork, so you have to make sure and peel those out too. Get another one there. Don't want that one. Okay. And then that one needs to go. Alright, so there is our big old tree. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause this video, and I'm going to go, because you guys don't really need to see me hair drying this, blow drying this. So I'm going to take this, we're going to take it, dry it off, and then we'll be back for the next step. Whoops, I think it kind of went out of focus there. Sorry, guys. Okay, so our piece is dry. And now we're going to put our first layer in. This project is all about layers. So I'm just going to squeeze some gold glue on there, and we're going to put, we're just going to take our crummy brush again, which is apparently a really crummy brush because it fell apart when I was washing it off. So comes apart, and I still have water in it. Okay, dry your brush off as much as you can, but you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. So you're just going to take this and you want to start building up your texture. So you're just going to splatter it on. Now this is going to need 2 coats, unless you do it really thick. I don't really like to do it too terribly thick, because then I think it fills in the gaps too much. So I'm just going to do one quick layer everywhere. And then we'll come back when this is dry. I'll probably take it to the blow dryer. Do another coat of this. And then this is sort of, after we get this gold down, it's where we're going to sort of change gears a little bit. So you really want to leave, at this point, you want to leave it overnight. So your gold can really dry well. You know, with the blow dryer, you're drying it, but it's still going to be a bit damp underneath, most likely. So you want to give it time to dry really, really well. So you're just going to splatter this on. And like I said, you want to make sure you've got that texture in there. So just, this is why you want a crummy brush, again. Because this is, you have a good brush, this is really going to ruin your good brush. And see, like I've got a pocket of, I realize I've got a pocket right there of the gesso. No, I think that, well, maybe. I'm not sure if they came out of my brush or out of the painting. I think it came out of our little piece of artwork here. No big deal. It'll just mix in with the gold and it'll dry. And then the second layer of gold will cover that over. But you want to make sure in all these, especially the flat areas, you know, this really, you don't have to splatter quite so much. But you really want that texture in the flat areas. So let's just get that worked in. And we'll let it dry. And then we'll come back and put another coat over it. Make sure you get your sides. Nobody wants a piece of art. It's not. Although with these, I don't know. I really have no idea how I would finish. How I'd finish these. I haven't decided yet. I haven't really thought about that too much. I need a little bit more. Alright, and don't worry if you stick your fingers in it, just cover it up. Now that you've got all the paint on there, go back and give your background some texture. I realize we're going to put another coating over there, but you want your textures to build up as well. Texture your sides. Don't forget the sides. Alright, so this is where we're going to leave this one at, and we're going to let it dry, come back, and put a second coating of gold on it. I think that's pretty good. Alright, so you can kind of see where we're going with this compared to, I'll show you the other one again real quick. Huge difference. So we're working on it. It may look like a mess right now, but hopefully it will turn out looking like this one. This is where we're headed. So we'll be back in a minute once this is dry, and we'll put another coating of gold on there. Okay, so we're back. It's dry. So we're just going to add another coat of gold to it. It definitely needs another coat. Let's see if I can show you kind of close up. You know, you can kind of see, you know, a little bit of the white underneath it in places. So we're just going to paint over that real quick. Give it a second coating, and then leave it, really, like I said, leave it overnight, or at least several hours, so that it can dry. really well, because your next coating is going to be wetter. And I don't know how I got that glue stuck in my paintbrush there. I don't know where that came from. Your next coating is definitely going to be wetter. So you want it to be, you want your gold to be completely dry. You don't want any of the undersurface showing. Any of the white showing through, sorry. And make sure you get into all those crevices. And do just a delicate paint over that. And then we'll go back and add a little texture. Sorry if I'm getting quiet. There's, you know, not a whole lot of interesting, exciting things to say. Try not to get too much paint in between these, because you need that empty space for the next layer. Otherwise, it's going to look too flat. The last tree I did, you know, the first one, my first attempt at this, there wasn't nearly as much tree in there, so I think it worked a little better than maybe this one's going to, just because there was a lot more space in between all of the tree branches, so I could really get in there with the next coat, which is going to be the black. And again, just work it in there real good. A little bit more. Try not to stick your finger back in it where you already added your texture. Okay, almost done, almost done. I know, I'm sorry this is kind of a long video, but it's a new process, and it's a process. This one takes longer than, you know, your normal pours. Get some texture in on your tree, because, you know, trees are not nice and smooth and perfect. And hopefully you can see now we're getting a nice thick gold layer. And, you know, we filled in all the little spots where we missed it before, hopefully. Giving it a little more texture so our tree is sort of coming alive a little bit, hopefully. Just take your excess and just add a little more texture to it. Actually, I think instead of, because I need to do one more layer of the copper to give it a little more sort of a bronzy look. So we're going to do that first while the gold is still wet. So we need a palette. And our palette is, of course, going to be a paint sample. So you want to put 2 colors down there. Pick whatever colors you want. If you want to do silver, try silver. I don't know how that'll come out, but probably pretty cool. You want some gold to mix in there just in case. Because you don't want stark copper. And then just start working it in. I like kind of doing it on the edges and maybe a little bit into the tree. Because the copper is darker than that gold, I want it to stand out but not overtake the entire, process here. I'm not going to put any down here because this is going to be sort of greeny. Sort of a green gray. Well, we'll put a little bit down there just to add a little bit of darkness to it. This will give it a little more depth of color, a little more texture. You don't want to overwhelm it, but with this process you can just keep working it until you like what you've got. I think we're going to do a little more copper on this one than we did on the last one. Give that tree some real deep tones. And you could add maybe a little bit of darker brown in here. I'm trying just to make this a real simple process to begin with, but you really could play with all sorts of different colors and really add a lot of depth. So, don't be afraid. Try a bunch of different colors. I like that copper on the outside like that. Really kind of warms up the center. Brings your eye towards the center. A little more gold on top of that. We don't want that copper to overtake everything. That's why you want to have all your colors out at the same time. That way you can just sort of mix as you go along. Add a little here, add a little there. If you don't like something, sort of come back in and add a little less, add a little more. Really like that coppery color on that tree. Plus you're adding in a little more texture. You're giving, sort of a framework for the piece. This kind of reminds me of kind of almost like the tree on Gone with the Wind. If you guys like Gone with the Wind, I love Gone with the Wind. Oh, don't want that in there. The middle of the movie where she's standing on the hillside. Music kicks in. It's intermission. And she's fists in the air. My family will never go hungry again. Okay. I think maybe a hint more down here. If it's too much, just go back in. Add a little gold back in there. Okay, so we're going to leave it like this. We're going to let this dry overnight so it can really, really dry. And then we're going to come back. So you guys, I will be waiting till tomorrow to finish this piece, but you guys will be watching it in just a few minutes. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, so now paint's all dry. And we have, we've got the black, Mars Black from Artist Loft. Mixed it with a little bit of water. I haven't mixed it in yet, but we just put it in some water. And then for the green, I switched out the metallic phthalo green for the metallic leaf green. Just because, we're doing a tree here and, ground cover. I figured, and this is actually, I think, a new color. I haven't ever seen this before, and it's just a beautiful green. This is a metallic. Black is not metallic. Usually when you see, old metal that's, kind of turning dingy and black, the black is not real shiny. So you don't want to use the metallic black. You want to use the, the opaque black. So what we're going to do is, we've got our paper towel here. I'm just going to tear that in half. I won't make the whole thing. Just kind of crumple it up so it's just kind of a wadded mess. And we're going to mix up our black paint really quickly here. And the first time I did this with the other one, I think my black was a little too thin. I don't think I had quite enough black paint in the water, which I'm kind of thinking maybe that's the same. I don't know. This is a little thicker. So I added a little more black paint to my water this time in hopes that maybe the black will show up a little more, although I'm not entirely sure. That may be a mistake. I don't know yet. We'll see. Like I said, you know, this is my second time doing this, so that looks really thick. I'm a little worried about how thick that is. Let's see what it does when we blot it off there. Well, it may be okay. I don't know. I'm thinking. It may be a hint thick, but we're going to try it because I'm not sure, and we're experimenting here. So, again, I have left my light off, my second light off, because, you know, I want you guys to be able to see this really well. And I think it was just a little bit too bright for this particular thing. So, let's move on. So, basically all we're going to do is a wash over the whole thing. And you're just going to let it kind of soak through there. Make sure you get in all the crevices. And you might want to take your napkin, depending on how big your project is. If you're doing a really big one of these, you might want to go ahead and blot your napkin before you get down towards the bottom, because you know, you don't want it all to dry super fast. Okay. So then you're going to take your napkin and you're just going to start blotting it. All over. And you want to blot it more in areas that you don't want, you know, so much darkness. I think my black is just a little bit too black, but good to know for next time. Okay, we're going to get another napkin here. Kind of blot away at that. Ideally, you wouldn't stick your fingers on your art project, but I only have it sitting on these 3 little cups, and it's not wanting to stay real well, so. Okay, so I think maybe add a little more black in a few more areas. Get it off of that. There we go. And then maybe a little more darkness towards the top. Just because we can. Just to sort of frame it in a little better. And you can kind of take your toothbrush, your paintbrush. Of course, I guess you could use a toothbrush for this. It would probably work pretty well too. And, you know, kind of dabble it around. Like I said, I kind of like the outside of my artwork, at least with this, to be a little darker than the inside of it. It kind of frames it in a little bit. so the eye sort of, you know, stays towards the center. And let's mix up some of this green here. Let me rinse my paintbrush off a little bit there. This might be where it might come in handy for you to, you know, have two paintbrushes, one for each color, possibly. Because I want to put a little green in there. Look how pretty that is. That is such a pretty green. Make sure you mix it in real well. You don't want any globs of paint on your canvas. And normally I would never, ever, ever add this much water to a paint because, you know, your binding is going to be completely just about gone. But for this little and maybe a little bit up the tree. And it's an old tree, it's got some moss growing on it. Not sure I really like that green on the tree. Just kind of wiping the top off a little bit there. The you know, the glue. Okay, so we got a little bit of green in there. Just a little bit. Let's go back in with a little bit of black. Because we just want a hint of that green. Just a hint of it. Just a little bit. Make it a little darker down here. You can continue to add and take away until it looks how you want it to look. You know, perhaps a little darker along here. I'm sorry, that's annoying. I know it. I realize that it is. I'm sorry for that. There we go. There was a little bit of green in there. It was really bothering me. So I want to just kind of get that out. Alright, so take a look. Kind of tilt it to see if there's anywhere. I think it kind of needs a little more black through here to sort of define those that one branch. So we'll just go back in, soak up a little bit of that. There we go. There we go. Okay. And now, as you can see, the gold is all dulled down. Looks like kind of weathered metal. I'm going to add just a little bit of darkness into this side. A little bit more, a little bit more. This is a very dark piece, but I kind of like it. It's a bit busy, I think. Maybe not quite so much tree next time. I don't know. Look, I think it looks kind of cool though. Now we're going to take her just gently. Sorry. gently blot it away. You do kind of have to be kind of quick with this because your paint is so thin it's going to dry really super fast on here. You don't want to lose that time to add a little extra. There we go. Alright, I think that piece is done. I feel like it just, something is not quite dark enough right through here. This is looking a little less like metal and just more like a really cool multimedia piece. I like it though. Oops. There we go. Okay. It's hard for me to see it really well. You guys are seeing it from a lot further back than I am. But I like the darker. Let's add a hint more green in there. When this dries, the green is going to be a lot darker. It's going to kind of, in that first one I had a little bit of green, but it kind of faded away. So, hoping that we're going to still have some of that green in there once it, but just barely. We don't want too much of that. You're probably yelling at me, stop messing with it. I'm sorry, guys. Just, you know, sometimes the paper towel will take more away than you want it to take away. Okay, I think we're going to leave it like that. I was trying to fill it in and make it a little darker, but I think I kind of like the... Okay. Well... yeah, I can kind of see what you guys are seeing now. I'm looking into the view. And I think I want to add a little bit more darkness back into here. I'm sorry if you don't agree, but everybody feels differently about a certain piece. Yeah, I think that grounds it a little better. I think it needed a little bit of grounding. It was a bit lightweight. Okay. So, all right, guys. It's a little dark. Not sure that green is going to come through. But I think we're going to leave it. I don't want to continue to fuss with it too much. Plus it gives it, like I said, a little bit of grounding. So this is where I'm going to leave you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely a far cry from what we normally do, but I hope you guys enjoyed the process and learning about a new way that you guys can, you know, create a really cool piece of art, get away from what may or may not be frustrating you for a little while. Yeah, go give it a try. You know, you don't need much to give this particular thing. You know, you just go buy one of those little crafty glue guns. This one I happened to swipe from my husband's workshop. But in my defense, it was still in the box, completely covered in dust, so I know he wasn't using it, so that's okay. We share everything, all of our tools. So, yeah, so all you really need is a surface, a solid surface. So, you know, get a scrap piece of wood to try it out on. A glue gun, which you can buy for about $5 at Walmart, or, you know, a few more bucks at the craft store. And then a few paints and some crummy paintbrushes. Doesn't take much to get this particular type of art started. And you can come up with some cool pieces. So please go try this out. Let me show you. We'll put both pieces, sort of do a side-by-side comparison. Sorry for getting in front of the camera there. So as you can see, these are really way different. The second one is way darker. And this is really bothering me. It's still bothering me. Way different. So maybe we'll try one with maybe silver background instead of the gold. That might be kind of cool. Okay, it's more like that. So tell me what you think of this. Honest opinions. Don't worry, my feelings rarely get hurt by anything anybody says, and you know, I've got some pretty tough skin. So tell me what you guys think. I'd love to hear your opinion. You know, if you try it out, send me a picture. I'd love to see what you guys come up with, because you guys come up with some really fantastic pieces of art. I'd love to see y'all's work. And check out my website. I have added a few necklaces, a few pendants to the website. I'm still working on it. I still have to get all the artwork up there, but I haven't had the time to photograph all of the paintings that need to go up there. Plus, the weather is just now getting sunny, so hopefully in the coming days we'll be able to get everything else up on the website. Hopefully get some tiles up there as well. So yeah, so go check out my website. The link is below. Order you some stone coat resin with my promo code. That link is well, you just look up stone coat art coat resin or stone coat countertops resin, stone coat resin. The website easily pops up, and then just put my promo code in there, HWA, and it'll give you a discount. Order some of those mica powders that we were talking about a week ago, and because they are gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous mica powders. Yeah, and if you'd like to donate to my channel, my PayPal link is below. And thank you to everyone who has already donated to my channel. It is greatly appreciated. I love each and every one of you. I'm trying desperately to get back to the emails, but I've had quite a few really bad migraines lately, and I can't do email with a headache. I just can't. Then it gets so much worse, and it's relatively debilitating. So I apologize if I haven't answered your emails. I promise they're on my list to get to. I will get to them very, very soon. So wherever you're on the planet, I hope you're having an awesome afternoon, day, evening, or night. Go check out other artists' versions of this. Like I said, I've only seen the one. I haven't looked at anyone else's, but if you look up glue gun art, there's several that pop up in the feed. So I'll probably be looking at some of those later in the week, hopefully. Yeah, give you more ideas. And obviously you can do more than just trees. So maybe next time it'll be something completely different. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I'm done rambling. I hope you guys are happy and healthy, and I hope you all are enjoying some of this gorgeous sunshine. We finally have some here in Georgia. I'm beyond excited about that. And I love you all. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, reach down there and hit the subscribe button, the share button, the like button. Helps out my channel. And one last thing I ask of everyone who watches my channel, if you wouldn't mind watching the ads for me. It helps out my channel. It gives me a little bit of ad revenue. And all that ad revenue that I receive is going towards paying for my house. So, which we really have to do very soon. So, alright. See you later. Bye.